Hello, I'm Angel Athena. One must not only read the great books, nor only tweet pictures of them, but one must read the greats as they were written, with honor and virtue, in the spirit of Socrates and Achilles. Wyoming Iliad. There is an error that many post-C.S. Lewis critics make when they say that Achilles regrets his life of honor. For instance, in the Ascend podcast's Great Books Guide to the Odyssey, Ascend proposes the following in section 65, and I quote, Achilles' admission that he would rather be a slave on earth than have his glories in the underworld is a dispositive commentary on his choice between his two fates in the Iliad, 11.550. As a reminder, Achilles had the unique capacity to choose between his fates, either die in Troy with everlasting glory, or return home to a peaceful family life, but obscurity. Achilles now would trade his immortal fame to live as a slave on earth. The revelation is a comment upon the contrast in the Iliad between Achilles and Hector, who lived a true life of arete or excellence. What does it mean to be an excellent man? This is quite wrong, and even the opposite of what Homer taught. First off, Achilles never says that he would rather be a slave on earth than have his glories in the underworld. Why must you fabricate this? Did not Jesus teach us that the truth sets us free? Achilles observes that death is a bad place. Achilles states to Odysseus, "Say not a word in death's favor. I would rather be a paid servant in a poor man's house and be above ground than king of kings among the dead." Achilles states that death is a terrible place, but nowhere does Achilles state that he regrets the life of honor he lived. This is perhaps Homer's most important lesson, and you somehow invert it. You erroneously assert, Achilles now would trade his immortal fame to live as a slave on earth. But nowhere does Achilles state that. Nowhere does Achilles state, I now would trade my immortal fame to live as a slave on earth. If you see those words in some translation, perhaps your own, please do cite and share it. Your error seems to be a popular error by post-C.S. Lewis critics, and I am trying to find the original source. Perhaps you might have some insight into its origins. Achilles says that he would rather be a servant on earth than be king of the dead. Nowhere does Achilles regret his life of honor and glory in any translation I could find, nor in the original Greek. Again, Achilles states to Odysseus, "Say not a word in death's favor. I would rather be a paid servant in a poor man's house and be above ground than king of kings among the dead." Achilles does not enjoy death, but he does not in any way ever regret his life of honor and glory. Not only does Achilles not regret his honor and glory, his choice to choose death over dishonor, but he tells Odysseus he would do it all over again. Could I but stand by my father's side in the light of day with the same strength that I had when I killed the bravest of our foes upon the plain of Troy, could I but be as I then was, and go even for a short time to my father's house, anyone who tried to do him violence or supersede him would soon meet violence from me. The fact that Achilles knows death is a terrible place, and yet that he would still choose death over dishonor, speaks volumes. There is no heaven waiting for Achilles, and yet he sacrifices his life to serve honor. Are you teaching your students that serving honor for honor's sake means nothing unless they are rewarded with your definition of heaven? Furthermore, Achilles wishes to know if his son is following in his noble footsteps as a bold warrior, asking Odysseus about him. But give me news about my son. Is he gone to the wars, and will he be a great soldier, or is this not so? Achilles is hoping that his son might be a great soldier, seeking honor and glory like Achilles did, and not a slave to a poor farmer seeking a long life sans honor. You pose a question echoing other erroneous critics. The revelation is a comment upon the contrast in the Iliad between Achilles and Hector, who lived a true life of arete or excellence. What does it mean to be an excellent man? Did not Hector also die? By your logic that a great man prefers life to death, should not Hector have listened to his wife and not joined the battle? Furthermore, what would you have Achilles do? Would you have Achilles choose a long life as a poor servant on a farm, and not avenge the death of his best friend Patroclus, and not slay Hector, and thus let the Greeks lose? Would you wish for Achilles to abandon the Greeks, and let them be defeated, so that Achilles could live longer as a servant? Would that then make him greater than Hector, in your opinion? Again, it is a curiously contorted, yet oft dominant, post-C.S. Lewis interpretation, which counters the actual text and Homer's lessons, and I'm hoping to find its origins. Any insights would be great. Thank you.